almost assuredly by now you are aware of the events that took place in Paris, France, where three masked gunmen broke into the offices of Charlie Hebdo and murdered 12 people inside, chanting things like "God is great" in Arabic and "We have avenged the Prophet." Um, and so Charlie Hebdo is basically a French satirical newspaper put out weekly. Charlie Hebdo itself means essentially Charlie Weekly, and they are a left-wing publication that does uh, heavy satire of things in the political and religious and social arena. And obviously, these attacks were pretty quickly linked to radical Islam due to the cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad that have been published by this newspaper in the past. Obviously, this is an absolutely horrible, evil act which has taken place, and it must be absolutely condemned. There is absolutely no place for this. It's completely unacceptable. Obviously, killing somebody, murdering somebody for any reason is pretty much never justified, let alone because you were offended over a cartoon. But there are actually people out there, of course, who are in support of what happened there. And someone who indeed supported these actions was Anjem Chowdhury, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he's a fairly well-known Muslim leader in the UK who is a scholar in like Sharia law. And for some reason, he was given the opportunity to do an op-ed and basically express his opinion that the artists at Charlie Hebdo had this coming to them essentially because they knew the repercussions. They were playing with fire essentially. And this opinion is just absolutely despicable. I guess I understand why he's allowed to voice his opinion because freedom of speech, of course. But at the same, so I don't want to silence him. But at the same time, I'm not sure that he really deserves a platform for his opinion. I mean, if he wanted to put that out there on his own Twitter or whatever the case is, but to actually be given space in a publication. But on the other hand, maybe that just shines light on it and exposes him and just demonstrates that there's people out there who agree with this. And then there was also the reaction from Bill Donohue, who's the president of the Catholic League here in the United States, and he was pretty much defending the anger that Muslims were feeling because of the cartoons that were drawn in this publication in the past. Essentially he's defending because he wouldn't want to see his religion, Christianity, mocked and made fun of and satirized. So he's basically standing up in defense of that, saying like, no, we shouldn't be making fun of any religions because he doesn't want his made fun of, basically, is what it boils down to. And, as if that's not bad enough, because, obviously religion is not to be free from criticism, but he hyperbolized the cartoons that had actually been done by Charlie Hebdo in the past that involved Christianity or the Catholic Church. And if you want to see kind of his embellishments of that, you can go ahead and check out a blog done by Firma over at the Friendly Atheist. I will link to that in the description below, and you can kind of see how he was making it out to be worse than it actually was. Not that it really matters, but why would you need to embellish that? So obviously satire and mockery is part of freedom of speech, and it deserves to be defended. And if it offends you, that's too bad. You don't have the right to not be offended. If you want, I even saw on Twitter a Muslim saying that basically this event was an eye for an eye. Well, not only do I disagree with that philosophy to begin with, but this was not eye for an eye. Eye for an eye would have been drawing a cartoon of the depicting the artists of Charlie Hebdo in an unflattering manner. Maybe putting a penis on their head and calling them Charlie Dildo or something. I mean, that would be eye for an eye, okay? Not murdering them. And I mean, hey, I don't care. You want to draw me being an atheist being sodomized by Joseph Stalin? Go right ahead. I could care less. You want to draw a picture of the four horsemen of the atheist apocalypse, as they're called. Richard Dawkins, Daniel Dennett, Sam Harris, and Christopher Hitchens having a circle jerk session with Charles Darwin in the middle. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead, draw that. I don't care, and honestly, I doubt any of them would care either. In fact, I know that Hitchens and Darwin would not care because they're no longer with us. And you actually know who else is no longer with us? Mohammed. He's no longer with us. So I really don't think he's offended by these cartoons. What does that really say about your faith in your God and your prophet when you have to jump to their defense? Are they not able to come take care of things themselves? You have to act on their behalf. Do you not believe that when people die, they'll be judged by your God accordingly? So, if your God exists and these cartoonists were blaspheming against him and he's angry about that, then let him mete out the punishment. What it says about your faith is that it's very weak if you feel that you have to act on behalf of your God and can't wait for him to sort things out. And you have to take somebody's life away from them before then, okay? Shows that you don't have the convictions that you claim to have. So another issue that I had with this was some of the media outlets censoring, the pictures, these cartoons and things. They were reporting on the story, yet they were censoring out the pictures. That's subjugating yourself to Islam. That's submitting to Islam. We don't live under Islam, okay? We're not Muslims. We don't have to obey their rules. So we don't have to censor those images, okay? The best thing we can do right now is to speak out against this and to plaster those images everywhere, far and wide, to show that we are not going to stand for this and we are not going to be intimidated. If you're old enough, you'll remember about 10 years ago there was a similar incident where there was several cartoons depicting Muhammad published, and one of the artists, Theo Van Gogh, was assassinated by a Muslim extremist. And so here we are kind of going through this all again. Now, that incident kind of was the impetus for Draw Muhammad Day, which is something that takes place every May 20th, and a lot of people participate in it. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. People basically just draw a picture of Muhammad, and they all submit their pictures and share them and plaster them far and wide to just show these extremists that we don't care and we're going to stand up for our rights to freedom of speech and expression and to mock their religion. And so we're kind of having an impromptu Draw Muhammad Day now. And if you want to participate in that, then I would recommend checking out Logicked or the Vegan Atheist, which I'll link to their channels below, as they are taking submissions for depictions of Muhammad, and they are going to display them once they get enough. So if you have something to submit to that, I would recommend doing so to fight back against this. And even if you don't do that particularly, I think that you need to speak out. We are all Charlie right now. You are Charlie if you will defend freedom of expression and freedom of speech, or if you believe that no idea is above criticism. You are Charlie if you'd rather die standing than live on your knees, which is what the slain artist Charv said. So, that was his spirit, and that was his convictions, and he was a courageous individual, as were all these artists, to stand up in the face of adversity and threats and continue doing what they do. And so obviously, since we don't believe in an afterlife, and we don't believe that these people who were slain are any longer with us, the only way to keep their spirit and their essence alive is to continue on in their tradition and do what they did and stand up to the evil forces that would try to stop us from doing this. So that's pretty much my opinion on it. So, Je suis Charlie. I am Charlie. Usually I'm prototype atheist, but not today. And just remember, the next time someone tells you that Islam is the religion of peace, to keep calm. It seems legit.